This show is a member of the Sorgatron Media Podcast Network. Find out more at sorgatronmedia.com. This show is brought to you by IndyWrestling.us. Check out IWC, RWA, and more. And listeners like you, support this show at patreon.com/Wrestling Mayhem Show.
Hungry as fuck, but I ain't starving yet. Chain for the pain, cocktail dollar set. Never said I was a gangster or thug, but I'm an animal. Waiting for the taste of the blood.
Hey guys, it's the Indy Mayhem Show. I'm Mike Sorgatron here on Twitter, and this is the show where we talk to people in and around independent professional wrestling, and sometimes people from your TV, as is the case today. But please subscribe to everything Indy Mayhem Show on the iTunes, Stitcher, Spreaker, iHeartRadio, and the Google Play Music podcast section. Wow, that's a lot of words for one place. And also the video versions on the Wrestling Mayhem Show Facebook and YouTube page, and of course over at IndyWrestling.us, where a lot of people we talk with, you can actually look up and see matches from them. And brand new, actually launching this week, is the IndyWrestling.us Twitch channel, where you can catch a lot of these people in action and some of our interviews, including this as well. And also, please, thanks a lot to our Patreon supporters, patreon.com/Wrestling Mayhem Show as of this recording. And probably by the time you guys hear this on the podcast, we will have our Patreon in the bank night of Mayhem Mania booking over on the main show. There's a few more perks that we're working on for after WrestleMania season as well. So go check that out, patreon.com/Wrestling Mayhem Show. Well, our guest today goes by, well, now many names. One of them was just shown on television just over a week ago as of this recording in Cleveland, Ohio. I was fortunate to be on the audience and say, hey, I know that person. She is now known as Jamie Frost, Lady Frost.
That's right.
Yeah, but you're also known as, of course,
Ellie Fredricks was the original name.
Mm-hmm.
And they took the liberty to just name me Jamie Frost.
Mm-hmm.
So we're rolling with it.
So I want to get into that and how this was kind of your first professional wrestling match on Monday Night Raw. Well, we'll get to that in a moment. But first, I like to kind of a little icebreaker so people can get to know you if they don't know you yet.
Icebreaker?
A little icebreaker.
Icebreaker. I like what you did there.
But what is your first? What was your first memory of pro wrestling?
Oh man. So we're gonna get deep. My my pap actually was a studio wrestler. He went under the name of the Batman. He wrestled with Bruno Sammartino.
He was the Batman?
He was the Batman. I know. I don't tell a lot of people this.
What?
I know. I waited to break the big news. So, yeah, if you watched wrestling back in the day, he still lives in Florida. My family lives down there. I don't really see them, but I do remember all of the photos and him just being wild and crazy and always in the gym and making me work out at a very young age.
Really?
So, yeah.
So that's where you got the bug. 'Cause I know from your Instagram and everything and talking with you, you're a real big into the workouts.
Yes.
Yeah.
I run a fitness business, so it's been a part of my life forever.
That's amazing.
Yep.
That's great. And for those that don't know, again, like Pittsburgh Studio Wrestling, huge thing here. Again, Bruno, a lot of names you've heard of. We've been kind of trying to get some stuff together for a documentary here for several years, actually. And if you go look up, I think it was a Batman with like 2 T's or something,
yes.
wasn't it? And he
yes.
dressed like Batman, and you can get away with that on local wrestling television back then, right?
Yeah.
That's awesome. I had no idea. So you're pretty ingrained with wrestling really early on.
I was. I watched it all the time. I won't lie, I kind of strayed as I got older and, family separation. It wasn't a part of my life as much as it is today. Mm-hmm. But, yeah.
So tell me what kind of brought you kind of around to it, to the independent professional wrestling here locally?
I'm sure anyone that knows me in real life knows that it's my boyfriend, Shane. He goes by the moniker The Savage Gentleman. Mm-hmm. And that's where I got the Lady Ellie. But, I first started coming around and just watching and being behind the table, selling T-shirts, and then, you get the bug. And I was a performer. I was a gymnast, a dancer, and I said, well, why don't I just be your manager? Mm-hmm. That's real life. I'm his manager in real life. So we started playing around with ideas, and that's how it really started for me. And then, once you get that far in, I can't just dip my toes in anything. I'm all in. It's black or white. So I just 100% dove in, and that's how this all started.
That's awesome. Oh, before we get to the training, I want to talk about that because we've actually been having a lot of discussions about, like, you guys have been doing this evolution. Shane in your face, if anybody wants to check out the interview we did with him, geez, it had been almost a year ago, I think, and he's a wildly different character. He's definitely due to get back in for us to kind of update with it. But you became part of that, and you guys, he started kind of going to the Savage Gentleman. You guys are doing this what did you say, Victorian kind of look and everything, and it's been this really different vibe that's kind of stuck out a little bit in recent months.
Thank you, I appreciate it. It feels organic, I guess, for us. We're both actually kind of old-timey, classic, traditional, and I think it felt for us more adult. I think both of us kind of like grew up too soon, too early, and it's like fun to be goofy and laugh around and silly, but it's more natural to play something a little bit more sophisticated. I think for the two of us, as we interact, that's how we interact in real life, and you'll see promos where, some of them were just filmed in our house by candlelight, and that's how we live. And some people joke like, this is so weird, this is not you guys, because they're used to seeing us goofy and in the gym. But it actually is very natural for us, but it is different than where he started with MMA and just being a fighter and a tough guy. You add a different element when you add a lady into the mix, and he can't just be the tough guy all the time. So that's how it started for the two of us in the wrestling world.
It was interesting because I happened to catch a little bit of the Jimmy Jacobs seminar.
Okay,
I got to see a little bit of footage of that, and
man,
and I think this was definitely before Raw, and it was interesting to see. You were kind of a little nervous about doing a promo like off the cuff, and then they got you out there like on television doing that. That kind of kind of jump up for you,
right? Well, even before that, I had cut a promo after a show right the week before we left for LA, which was right before WWE. But one or two, it would have been one shot, but we took two. Shane kind of fumbled, but took a live promo there. It never got aired, but I'm kind of better when I know it's coming. At the Jimmy Jacobs seminar, I was like put on the spot. I had something going on in my own brain, but like Shane pulled me in. So we were trying to do something together, but yeah, it was definitely different being in front of 10 people and then being in front of 30, 40,000.
Absolutely.
For sure.
So tell me about like you transitioned over and started training. Tell me kind of how, what was the moment where like I got to get in here and how you've been training lately?
Honestly, how it started, it was over a year ago, and I was told that I needed training to be a manager. So, I wasn't really sold, but I said, sure, I'll come in. I got 0 manager training, but I got wrestling training a couple months. And, some things happened, unfortunately, in our personal life, and we put everything on pause. And it was then that I got the bug. I got the itch. I, got in the ring and rolling around, and I'm very physically active and still do gymnastics. So I got a little bit of a taste of it. And the more I was out on shows, managing, watching everything, I, just had that feeling like I can do this. I want to do this. I know there's a place for me here in this world. So I started up training back in January again. So it's sporadic. I haven't even had 4 months straight of training, but.
So how do we get from that to sporadic, a few months here and there training, to I've debuted on Monday Night Raw?
Well, the last few months I have been very, very serious. Both of us, actually. Shane just got back from LA with the New Japan Dojo. So we've kind of thrown ourselves into this world. We knew that we wanted to commit 100%. I'm driving over an hour and a half each way to train at an environment that is absolutely awesome and positive, and I couldn't be happier with where I'm at Rise. They're out in Connellsville, so we have been, like I said, going full speed, but we had sent emails out to WWE, and we were just going for an extra talent position. And you never know what comes of that. They tell you to bring black for security. For ladies, they say club outfits. I don't even own club outfits. Everyone's like, you don't even club? I'm like, I know. So I got some dress, but, I showed up in business casual, heels, and I don't know if they had the spot already pre-planned, but they picked myself and another girl, and neither of us could wrestle, actually. So it was quite interesting because no one knew what to do. They didn't know if they were going to keep the spot. I actually heard that they called someone else to come in because neither of us could do anything. Long story short, they pretty much gave me an in-ring interview. They pulled me in, tossed it around with me, made me lock up, do some bumps, throw some strikes, and Sarah, the trainer for NXT, actually put the match together for us. Asuka doesn't speak much English, so it was interesting in that regard, trying to put something together through, third party. But it pretty much just evolved second by second.
Wow, that's amazing. And did you know, when did you know that you were going to get mic time on television?
After they had me in the ring and they put the match together and they saw that I was capable of handling this, they said there was a possibility, and then they said it was going to be in the arena only aired, and I had a few takes if I needed before Asuka's entrance. And after they heard me a few times, they made me practice before I went into Gorilla, the holding room, and I guess I looked rather calm. I was keeping it together somehow, and they made a last-minute decision, I think, to take it live. So I really didn't know until I was walking down the ramp, and I was waiting, and then Asuka's entrance came, and they told me we're going live. So I didn't even have time to freak out.
You just say, did they give you those lines? Because there was a lot of discussion about whether there were lines that you came up with. There was some jokes going around that you apparently quoted Scott Steiner at some point.
No, I think people should know the WWE better. It was scripted. They were given to me. Mm-hmm. Very specifically, we went over how I would say them a few times. They didn't tweak too much. It was basically a speed thing. They actually asked me to speed up at one point, which you usually hear slow down, take a pause, all that kind of. Yeah. But yeah, really, I just memorized them quickly and mouthed them off, and they were like, "Oh, okay, that's good, yeah." So they decided to keep the whole segment. They decided to give me some offense. I guess I just showed up for the occasion.
Because they just did on one of these Asuka squash spots in Detroit a week or two ago too. And I remember, and it was just, she got hammered for like a minute, right? And that was it, you know. And I was just like, wow, she got some offense. That's great.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's whatever they want, honestly. Mm-hmm. I showed up and I did what they asked, and I gave it my best, and I got lucky. I think everyone kind of has a shot if you're willing to travel and go work for peanuts and be in cold venues with no heat and changing behind essentially a shower curtain. You're willing to put yourself through that. You have a shot because you want it. No one does that just for no reason. So if you're going to put in the work and you're going to get there, yes, timing is very important, but you never know what they're looking for, what they're going to throw at you, like the name Jamie Frost out of nowhere.
Well, let's talk about that a little bit, because again, you had a name already. They gave you this one, and I think others I think they gave Delilah Doom a different name. Britt Baker got her own name when she went on there and everything, because probably was non-offensive,
Right.
or different and simple, right? They like simple names. This is you've kind of embraced this new personality they gave you, right? And exploded. There was a point last week where you're like, oh, just a couple months on Twitter, and I already got 1,000 followers at some point last week. Things like that. Like, how's that been for you for that kind of change?
Honestly, I just started accounts for Ellie Fredricks. Mm-hmm. I want to say in January or February, and when Jamie Frost came to fruition, we had some impersonators, imposters, and they were using my photos, and it was really hard to kind of sort things out because I had the different name and I didn't have a lot of followers behind me at that point.
Yeah.
But I did what I could, and I had people backing me and kind of reposting, retweeting, that kind of stuff. But I did gain about 1,000 or 1,500 followers in that first week.
Nice.
So
that's great. So is the idea? I think we were talking a little bit beforehand. Are you going to kind of roll with this new kind of name, or roll it back into your old one, or what's kind of the plan so far?
The plan, I think, is to keep sort of the gimmick that we have with the lady and the gentleman,
Right.
and I'm just gonna add some iciness to it, a little frost, and I think I'm gonna go under Lady Frost.
Mm-hmm.
It's all up to the promoter how they really want to advertise, because it's their show and it's what I have to offer them and how they would like to promote me. I haven't really talked to my trainer on how to go about everything yet, so I'm going to be cautious. I'm going to finish training. I'm going to make sure that I'm safe, and I start wrestling in places that I feel comfortable enough to get myself out there as Lady Frost.
Good. And that's been the interesting, and I've heard this from other people about the gimmicks and people smarter than me about you guys are interesting because you're willing to evolve, right? You're not kind of stuck in this is what my character is, X, Y, and Z, and
Right.
like you realize you showed up on WWE and they give you something, right? And you have to
You
learn
have
to roll with
with it. You have to be willing to evolve, and that's in life. I mean, I've been different, I don't want to say characters because I've always been the same person, but you go through things that force you to level up, to change, and you should never become complacent or settle. That's kind of one of my biggest mottos, even in my fitness company, is that don't settle, and you have to be willing to accept what's out there or change, because there's always someone nipping at your heels ready to take that spot or come with something innovative or new or flashy, and you have to be willing to do what you have to do to make a name for yourself.
Absolutely. Bradley, we have a lot of questions in the chat room right now, actually.
All right, let's get them. Let's go. Who's in there?
Bradley's worried about you. Bradley's asking if you're allowed
Hi.
to legally use Jamie Frost, which you're using a Lady Frost thing. So
I'm using Lady Frost. I
Yeah.
haven't asked. I do have some contacts, but I'm treading lightly.
Yeah.
You'll see I didn't change everything to Jamie Frost on media or anything, but
Right. But the nice image. By the way, I gotta give you props for because I was pulling up images for promoting this, and I love that you looked right at the camera, and that it's like this is my new Facebook profile picture right here.
Wait, so you know what's great about that? I'm like, oh crap. If you watch the footage in its entirety, because they tell you when you're interviewing, do not look at the camera.
Mhm.
You look at the interviewer.
Yeah.
And that was right after the interview. And I was turning to walk away to enter the ring, and I just caught the camera accidentally. And you'll see my face like, oh crap, a little bit, because you're not supposed to look at the camera. And of course, everyone's using that picture, and I'm like, man. But it was just kind of in that like glance and turn. So, but I mean, it's working. It was a good shot. Someone, must have just caught that 1/8 of a second that I was looking at the camera accidentally there. But
and it works. It works.
It
definitely.
works. It does.
You never know when you break the rules a little bit, right?
Happy accidents.
Yes. Michael's asking if you got to talk with any other talent at Raw.
I did, absolutely. I mean, almost everyone I feel like was pretty friendly there, and most of it was a head nod and a hi. I missed a John Cena fist bump in the hallway. We were walking by, and he's like, "Go kill it!" And I didn't know he was talking to me. He held the fist up, and I'm like, "Oh man!" And I just kept, I know,
big time John Cena.
Yep, I was just like, "Well, I dissed John Cena in the hallway," but
You're in trouble if you did get hired now.
Yeah, right. He might come after me for that one. But yeah, Jinder Mahal was there. We talked a little bit. If anyone saw that picture from the Arnold Classic, he's super cool, down to earth. But a lot of talks about my gimmick gear.
Yeah.
If people don't know what that is, like your clothing, your attire. It was interesting. I did have new gear made, and it was in the process of being made even before WWE. So it was awesome that I got to air it there debut it. It had the fur and the lace, and it was wonderful. And now, gimmick change, I have to change my gear again. But yeah, everyone was really friendly. You could tell, like, Tuesday when I showed up, I got some high fives, and they're like, loosen up, go, go frolic. So I didn't want to impose, step on any toes, but we spent a lot of time in catering. There were some amazing desserts. So that's where you can find me, like, with the cookies and cheesecake.
I think we were talking pierogies with Shane after the show too.
Yes. Pierogies.
I hear Dean Malenko loves pierogies. That's an unconfirmed rumor. But awesome. Marcus Mann now says you missed the John Cena fist bump.
I know I did. I should have left that towel over there on your side. Yeah, right.
Never missed the fist bump is the new merchandise from Wrestling Mayhem show now. We'll get our own towels made and everything. And we'll get you one for you and for Marcus.
And for Marcus. Okay.
That's amazing. Oh, geez. And of course, you mentioned Sarah Amato, Sarah Del Rey. We've had on the show. People know from the Indies as well. What advice do you give for people that are kind of in that position? You kind of gave a little bit already, but that have that opportunity to try to get to RAW, or even to try to get to the position you were to be backstage like that.
Honestly, be yourself, but I think it's kind of just like they know what they want, they know what they're looking for, and if they weren't, they see something. I tried to just be calm about everything and give my best. You're just compliant, and whatever they ask for, whatever they need, if you're willing to, that's what you do. So I don't really think I have advice. It's kind of whatever they want. You show up and they cherry pick, but it's like a live interview. So
I've been hearing it's more of a casting call, like for a production than they're looking for a wrestler, right? At that point.
I mean, you never know. You never know what they're looking for. And being the company that they are, they can do and have whatever they want. So you don't know when you show up. You put your best foot forward. You come looking dressed for the part. I mean, I see people come in, suits and tennis shoes or some goofy things. But I mean, if you truly want to be with the best company in the world, then you dress like it, you act like it, you shake everyone's hand. And there's so many employees there, thousands of people, and you never know who knows who's going to say what. And it's kind of just like, you have to treat everyone as if they could be your boss.
Absolutely. There was Michael's in the chat room asking, did you get any advice from Triple H?
No, but I did get to shake his hand, and
nice.
I think he said thank you to me before I could say thank you. It was absolutely crazy. That was like my one surreal moment. Sarah said, I shook a bunch of people's hand, but he was kind of back in the corner behind the monitors in Gorilla, and she said, go shake Hunter's hand, and I was like, oh man. I'm like, really? I'm like, oh, I just didn't want to walk over, but I did. There were 3 guys in line. I shook everyone's hand, and then I was kind of hesitating because he didn't turn to look, and I didn't want to be too aggressive, but he turned to me, shook my hand, and said thank you. And I was just like, what? You're thanking me? You can't do that. Like, but yeah, that was probably my favorite moment.
That's awesome. So there was a good question in there that I think is good. What's coming next? What's next for Lady Frost coming up here?
I think that it's probably best that I don't make that decision. I have a group or a team of people that are going to guide me in the right direction, and I feel like I have a family at Rise that they're going to do that. They're going to keep me grounded and humble and, make me wait until it's appropriate to take the next step. But right now it's grinding, it's training. I'm going to go full force, get there as often as possible. I actually turned down some work for my own business and canceled a couple group fitness classes because, I want to take this as serious as possible. I don't have that much time. I'm going to make a run at it, and hopefully I'll be debuting for real sometime soon.
Well, it's definitely a good head start to get an opportunity like this. I wish you all the best. Of course, I love seeing you out there with Shane. It's been a really cool package to see you guys evolve, especially filming with IWC, seeing a Black Diamond and other stuff that I've been seeing online with you guys too. So where can people find you online?
Online, I am Ellie Fredricks _ on Instagram, and I am Lady Frost on. Am I on Twitter? I don't even know.
I think that's
Listen,
just
I've been trying to change my names, and they're like, there's this backlash, and they make you go through 72 hoops to
on Twitter now.
Yes.
Wow, that used to be a lot easier. Let me double check what you are now.
Yeah, thanks, because I don't even know.
You were still Ellie Fredricks _, but like the name, the display name is Lady Frost. Though,
okay, so it's still Ellie Fredricks for both accounts and on Facebook.
Yes.
Yep, and then I have the fitness accounts and my personal accounts, so there's 50 of them out there. If you really want to stalk my life, there's plenty of venues.
You have a lot of angles for promoting yourself from the look of this. So.
Right.
You got a .com. You want to promote your .com while you're at it?
Fitmissbrit.com. That's the business.
There you go.
Shameless plugs.
There you go. Keep an eye on that to see where she comes up. I know you'll be coming up here with the IWC. I presume we'll see you on a Rise show sooner or later as well. So both great promotions, and of course you guys are getting all over the Midwest that I'm aware of. And New Jersey, I think. What Monster Factory you guys been doing?
Monster Factory. We went there last month. We'll be there this weekend, and I believe the last weekend in April. Is this coming up? May? Yeah, May. And we're just in Indiana, Maryland, New Jersey, Ohio, West Virginia, Canada. So we've been taking a tour every weekend.
That's awesome. Good to see it. Good to see good people getting great opportunities.
Thank you.
So go check them out and check out everything. You can check out the Shane in Your Face and her at ringside, and also great gifts of you slapping Jock Sampson.
Yes. The slap is becoming my thing. I don't know if we call that the frostbite or what, but
there you go.
We need an appropriate name for that.
Fantastic. Go check her out at IndyWrestling.us and promote all, and of course support all the indie wrestling and keep an eye on her and tell everybody about her. If you have a local promotion you want to see, Lady Frost and Shane, the Savage Gentleman, hit them up. And hey, there's this girl that was on Raw lately. Maybe
maybe you want us there.
Thank you so much for joining us. And until next time, and please subscribe to Indie Mayhem Show if you want to check out more interviews like this. And keep an eye on the IndyWrestling.us and Wrestling Mayhem Show Facebook page. We often have events in advance whenever we schedule any of these. We get them all over the place whenever we can get. Pro wrestlers have some really interesting schedules, okay?
Yes.
So,
yes, we do.
Yes, and it's whenever we can. So thank you so much for spending time with us.
Absolutely.
And until next time, please support indie wrestling.
You know how I act now. If you got a problem, come and see if I'm a back down. Act wild. Steady sipping Jack now.
This show is a member of the Sorgatron Media Podcast Network. Find out more at sorgatronmedia.com.